You're live. Okay.
Is it 5? It's 5.
What are these?
You're gonna make us yell.
Yeah, that's why as soon as I click, it's like, no.
Yeah. I wonder if they can hear the microphone.
Hey, everybody in TV land. It's Chef Sam. BTS.
Behind the scenes.
Right?
Not BTS.
Not the band.
Oh. We're on?
See if your mic's here. I can always do it on.
We're on?
I think we're on.
We're on.
We're live. What's up, you guys? Happy Monday.
Welcome to a special Ask Rosa with our great friend Chef Sam.
Hey guys, it's me again. I'm sure you guys have seen me on YouTube with the quick tips.
And
so
if
thanks
you
for tuning
haven't,
in.
go ahead.
Today we're gonna be making some sauce. We're gonna be doing some sauteing. We're gonna be.
And if you have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments and they'll let us know. We can answer as many questions as we can.
Okay. So we have myself right now, and I'm waiting for it to populate. So right now we have. Where's Ruby?
She said she was going to be off and on.
Okay. Cool.
Cool. Well, we'll let everybody get in, and if you're already on, happy Monday, and I hope you guys are having a good one, and we're gonna have a really good week this week. So, Rosa, why don't you kick it off?
Well, it's a special episode, and Chef Sam is going to show us a great recipe. If you have any questions to substitute or nutritional value within it, just go ahead and ask us. We'll try to answer as many as we can as we go along.
Cool. So, what we're going to be doing today is a spiced seared scallop with a seasonal corn saute. I put the recipe really vague and you guys within your own kitchen, spices that you have on hand wanting to use. Today the spices are very easy. Most of them we have them at home, and the corn from Fresno State, sweet corn. It's delicious. It's fresh. Rosa, if you want to show them, I just picked up yellow corn, chopped it up right off the cob, and that's it. We're just going to be using that raw into the saute, but you can also roast it previous, or you can just, a lot of people like it boiled with butter just to kind of enhance the flavor. However you like your corn, you're more than welcome to use whatever you have in house. Even canned corn, just make sure you strain it and just kind of let it dry out a little bit because you don't want any of that moisture to make your saute soggy. So we'll be using corn. We'll also be using bell pepper, red onion, a little bit of garlic, some butter, salt and pepper, and kale.
Oh, right here.
Yes, and
Beautiful.
kale. If you don't like kale, which most people don't really, either you do, you don't. But if you don't, you can use spinach, you can use arugula, you can use Swiss chard, you can use actually any green that you want to use in house. Today, I like using kale because it handles the heat a little bit better. And it's going to counteract with all the sweet ingredients we have. We have sweet corn, red bell pepper sweet. We have red onion, which is sweet. And the kale kind of just ties it all together with a nice savory touch. So again, if you don't want to use kale, you're more than welcome to use any green that you can find at the store. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to use it in the biggest pan you have. This is going to feed about 3 to 4. So according to what you're feeding is the bigger or smaller pan you're going to use. Today we're using a 10-inch pan. I already have it preheated. I'm going to use a little bit of olive oil, kind of get the pan acclimated so nothing sticks.
Bridget said hi.
Hey, Bridget.
Hey, Bridget. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully the ingredients with us. If not, you're going to have to make this dish. So I have the pan heated up. Moving the oil just kind of around in a spiral motion to get it coated all around the bottom. You'll see as soon as you do that it becomes a little shine on the, I say about medium heat, and let that just kind of get used to the heat. we're never going to cook in a cold pan. You don't want to just drop things in. You're not going to get the result that you want. It's always important to preheat your pan so you can get some char, you can get a little bit of crust, you can get a little bit of more smoky aroma from there. As soon as you start to see your pan start to smoke a little bit, lower it down. That's when it's time to add in the onions and the bell peppers. And you're just going to work.
Smells good.
It's already smelling really good. It almost smells like a fajita blend. But you're just going to work that just a little bit at a time. Again, your pan shouldn't be really, really hot, but it shouldn't be cold. You want to hear that sizzle.
I'm going to throw in there real quick the benefits of kale, just in case you're not sure. Kale is actually rich in vitamin A, K, B6, calcium, magnesium, and fiber. So if it's something new, go ahead, try it out. It has a lot of health benefits.
It really does. And I know like a lot of us aren't familiar with eating kale. We kind of get this weird vibe from it. But honestly, the more you introduce it into your daily lives, you'll start to really enjoy it. It gives a lot of textural benefits in your food and also nutritional benefits. So as soon as you start to see your onions and your bell peppers sweating, there's going to be a little bit of a kind of a little residue going down on the bottom. That's when we're going to add in the garlic. And I'm going to about add half of what I have and let that cook. You don't want to add the garlic in at first because you can risk burning it. So wait until everything starts to get a little worked in, then fold in your garlic.
How much garlic would you say that is?
I probably put in about 2-3 cloves. At my house, it's about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cloves. I love garlic, so just let that be up to you. However much you want to put in, you can put in. So you can already start to smell the garlic being infused with the peppers and onions. It's really nice. It's delicious. Say it again. I love that. I love that. All right, so as soon as you start to smell the garlic, we're gonna turn up our pan a little bit higher. We're gonna add in the corn. You still want to hear the sizzle. This is about, what I added in was about 3 cobs of corn. Again, this is gonna feed 3 to 4. So base that off of whatever you want to put in. I do about 1 cob per person. You're just going to gently fold that in. Kind of blend with the natural oils and the aromas already.
Smells really good.
And yes, already. So I'm going to let that chill for just a second. And if you're not into onion, don't add onion. If you like more bell pepper, you can add bell pepper. If you like asparagus, you can throw whatever you want into this. Typically, the way I work my recipes is that they're just a guideline. Use whatever you have in house. There is no wrong ingredient, and just have fun with it. A lot of times we get so caught on recipes that we think if we don't have that ingredient, we can't cook it. Well, it's not true. Whatever you have, just make the best of it, and it'll turn out all right. She can ask.
No.
I don't know her, so she's good on my books.
Well, who's the question for? That's my sister-in-law.
Oh, gosh.
What she asked.
All right, cool. You'll start to see things steam up. Your corn's going to get a little bit more translucent. Let that continue to work. You're not going to overcook your corn at this point. Don't worry about it burning or anything like that. There's enough in the pan to keep it from having hot spots. On the bottom, control that. Heat control is also important in general. You don't want to crank your pan up to high and just work like that. You don't want to have it too low. You want to find that medium. So every kitchen's different. You got to find that sweet spot at your own kitchen. And once you find that, then you're going to be able to work more confidently and continue to work through this process. I haven't lost the sizzle. That's important. That means that my pan's been hot enough this whole time.
Is your dad named Ben, Sam?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, what's up, Dad? Thanks for tuning in. All right, cool. So I like where the corn's at right now. I'm just gonna continue cooking. And
How would you describe the texture of the corn for the viewers so they know when it's done?
okay, so the texture, when your corn is done, the texture is gonna have a slight bite, but it's gonna be tender. If it's too crunchy, that means it needs more time, and that's just a little bit more of this is kind of steaming, this kind of working it together. If it was too hot and it was just burning, it'll start to get too crunchy. So you want kind of a firm soft. It doesn't really work, but you're looking for it to have a nice smooth bite.
Where's Ruby's question? Oh.
All right, I'm starting to see some browning on the pan. So that means that most of the moisture is already starting to dissipate, and we're ready for the next step, and that's adding in the kale. And the kale, even though it looks like a lot, just like spinach, just like any green, it's going to shrink down. So we're going to add in the whole thing. It's going to be a little mountain. Don't be too afraid. Let's go.
Thank you.
And just carefully work over the top of it. Just fold it in. Take your time. You're not burning anything. You'll already start to see the kale reacting to the steam, to the heat. It's already going to be cooking. It's already going to be shrinking down. And the color, it's so colorful, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, as soon as it starts to just get completely coated, it's going to wilt. This is when we're going to add in about 2 tabs of butter.
And if you can, after you add the butter, if you can hold it up so they can see how much it
Yes.
actually reduced.
So here's the 2 tabs compared to the 3 ears, the heap of corn, and the bell pepper onion. Again, this is going to feed about 3 people. And you're just going to keep folding that in just little by little. Incorporate the corn with the butter. As soon as you start to see the butter melt, that's when we can add in the salt and pepper.
And when he says tabs of butter, it's approximately a tablespoon of butter,
Yes.
not half a stick of butter.
No. No, it's not.
They asked if the butter was salted.
My butter is unsalted butter. I use a brand called Plugra, and it's a chef's recommended butter because there's no salt, and that can help you control the salt intake in your meals. So as soon as you start to see everything wilt, the butter's gone, you're going to turn your pan off and let everything just rest. And that's it.
I'm excited.
And again, it can be whatever you want it to be. It can be spinach. It can be arugula. You don't even have to put greens. You can put more vegetables in it. It can be grilled. It can be roasted. Whatever you want it to be, it's up to you. And there's the final product right here. Colorful, bright, fresh. It's really good for you because it's all fresh vegetables in season. The kale is not going to be as tough because we're wilting that down. But yeah, so we'll put that aside and we'll work on the scallops, and I'll talk to you about the scallops. Get this little corn out. All right.
Should have ate it.
Right. So scallops. Most of us have heard about them. Most of them haven't tried it. Most of us don't like it. Most of them love it. But here they are. They come from bivalve, so they're in a clam. They open up. This is the meat that's inside of it. It's delicious. It's best if it's eaten the day of. You don't want to buy scallops and hold on to them 3-4 days. You want to eat them the day of. That's just the best way to have it. I have one side is spiced with the blend of paprika, cumin, salt, and pepper. Just a little bit. If you overcoat your scallops, you'll end up having a very gritty type texture on your tongue. Now, if you didn't want to use scallops, you can use shrimp. If you didn't want to use shrimp, you can use chicken. If you don't want to use chicken, you can use ground turkey. You pretty much use whatever protein you want in this application because it's all universal. As long as you use whatever spices you have in the house, compare this little corn mixture with whatever. Any?
I'm just going to throw in there the benefits of seafood, which is the omega fatty acids. But scallops themselves are very low calorie. Think of seafood, that's one of their concerns is the mercury in seafood. And with scallops, they're so low in mercury that they're really recommended.
Yes. And you can find these at most of your supermarkets. They'll be frozen. We don't live in a coastal area, so that's the best way to get it is frozen. You can thaw them out as you please. When you're buying fresh off of the seafood counter, make sure you're using them the day of, and also try to keep them on ice the day before because you don't want them to get into any kind of temperature danger zone, and keep them under 41 degrees at all times. So what we're going to do is we're going to use another nonstick pan with oil. And this time we're going to use a little bit more oil than the last mixture. And it's going to be a different type of combination. I'm going to use the olive oil butter technique, which gives it a little bit more richness and it helps the sear on the scallops. You don't have to add butter to this mixture, but what it does is it creates a nice little blend of richness with the scallops because scallops are low in fat. There's not a lot of fat to them. So incorporating butter and oil is kind of important in this, or else they get a little bit dry.
What would you recommend for somebody that's lactose intolerant or can't have butter?
Just use olive oil. There's nothing wrong with it. Just use straight olive oil. You'll be fine. Maybe a little extra virgin olive oil for a little bit of robust flavor. But other than that, oil in the pan. Now you're starting to see that I'm smoking a little bit. This is where you want to let your pan off of heat and just rest a little bit. Adding scallops to a very hot pan will cause them to burn more or burn faster than what they need to be. We're going to be creating a sear. We're not going to be burning. So it doesn't take too long. As soon as you see the smoke dissipate, throw your pan down. You're going to take the scallop, one space between. Just right pan and turn your pan up slightly to maybe like medium low. And you should know what's cool about this is that we'll be incorporating our butter cilantro sauce with the drippings of the scallops. So we'll have a nice little char with the paprika cumin mixture inside of it. Add some lime, some butter, some cilantro. We're good to go. All right, so we're going to let this one side sear for about 3 minutes. Then we're going to flip, add the butter, and let it just rest. What I love about scallops is they literally take about 5 minutes to cook. So if you're a seafood fan, you haven't tried scallops, this is one that you're going to want to try for sure. And again, if you didn't want to add seafood, you can do chicken, you can do beef, you can do whatever you want. But I love scallops. I love corn together. They're such a beautiful pair, especially when you incorporate cilantro and lime and heavy spices. It's a good flavor to have. So you want to move it. I want to move it, but I'm not. What you're going to do is just give it a little bit of shake. If you see them starting to move, that means that you're doing it right. If they're stuck, they need a little bit more time. And I'm going to show you on this guy right here. See how he's able to move? That means we're doing it right. We're controlling the heat, having a good time. Just going to scoot him over. And that's it. Just going to let that chill. When it comes to scallops, the less you move, the better it's going to be. Do you like scallops, Rosa?
I love scallops.
Who does? I mean, with me, I figure everybody likes scallops, but I don't want to judge. If you don't like it, that's on you. All right, so it's been about 2 minutes. What you're gonna wanna do is just check one of them. And I'm gonna check the one that was moving from the gate. Once you flip, you're gonna have a beautiful crust. I can feel that it has a nice textural difference than what was originally at first. So I'm just gonna flip that and just flip them. That's it. And you'll have a nice, beautiful char on them. Nice, kind of a dark golden pan off. Add in a tab of butter, a squeeze of lime, and just mix that.
I'll so get into it right now.
As soon as that butter starts to, you got a little bit left, add in another tab. Stir it.
Is Ruby still on? I wonder if Jose's watching.
And you can see that we have this beautiful butter mixture just soaking around the scallops that are perfectly seared. It's not that it's hard. It's just it takes a little bit of time, patience. You want to move them, don't move them. It's only going to be there for a couple minutes. And at this point, you can let your scallops cook until your liking. Recommended is that it's two minutes on each side and let them rest. But not all of us like seafood like that, so cook it to your liking. 140 degrees internal temp is at the most, and that's you don't want to go over that because they'll tend to get a little rubbery. Okay. And if you're not too familiar with temps, which most people aren't, just take it out and just give it a squeeze. It should kind of feel a little firm, like a touch, not like completely down, but you should have a little bit of resistance.
Like a marshmallow?
And that's it. Just gonna take them off, let them rest together. And now we have the start of our sauce, which is going to be the lemon cilantro butter sauce. So what we're going to do is turn the pan on low, add in another 2 tabs of butter. And you don't have to use all this sauce. This sauce can last you a little bit of leftovers. The rest of that garlic I use, which is going to be about a clove. Just mix that all in. You'll get some of the drippings. That's good. You want that. You just want to go until you start to smell the garlic. You'll already have residual heat, so this sauce is very easy to make. And if you're not one who likes butter sauce or
Mesmerized right now.
so get this little kale out. All right, so you'll start to see everything foaming up. You can turn your pan. The sauce is just about done. We're going to finish it with the last cold butter. And the cold butter is just going to help it cool down just a little bit. Hit it with a little bit more lime. And then as much cilantro as you want. We'll just use it all. There you go. And that's pretty much it. The sauce is going to be loose. It's meant to be. If you have any kind of char on there, it should already be off of the bottom of your pan. If you noticed, the bottom of my pan is super clean. So most of that deglazed came from the butter, the lime. It's all coming off of that nice flavor from the scallops. So we're going to let that chill. And we're pretty much ready to eat.
Yes.
Again, cooking should be fluid. If you have everything in hand and you know what you're doing, it's a breeze. Just take it one step at a time. If you have any questions, you can always resort back to our YouTube channel. You can always ask Rosa. You can hit me up. There's a lot of resources for you to do stuff like this. So don't feel like too intimidated from what you're seeing here. It's very easy to make. So, beautiful square plate. We're gonna just do this family style. Corn down, nice little amount. Take our scallops, place them however you like. And then, like I said, you don't have to use the whole thing, but just a little bit of that lime, butter, cilantro mix just on the bottom of it. Just clean up the plate for fresh sprigs of cilantro. Add that over the top. Maybe you want a little bit more lime. You can add it right there. And there it is, you guys. The seasonal seared scallops with the corn saute, a little cilantro lime butter with some nice fresh cilantro and a little squeeze of lime on there. Again, this is super easy. You can follow it however you want. Use whatever you want. I encourage that more than just following the recipe hand by hand. So please, if you haven't tried scallops before, let this be your first time, your first recipe. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy.
We try?
Yes, and of course we can try. I'll let Rosa try. She's the real judge here.
I'm gonna try this first. Oh, it's really good.
That was real. Because if it wasn't good, she'd be like, oh yeah, that's good. It's all about the body language.
Ben said it looked very easy.
It's that easy.
It's really good.
Hope you guys take from our enjoy cooking, enjoy being in the kitchen. Don't let it be too. The more you're comfortable at your pans with your heat, your ingredients, the easier it is you're going to get the outcome that you want. And again, hit up our YouTube channel. Check out Quick Tips with Chef Sam. Check out Ask Rosa. We got it all here for you. You can figure it out. Trust us. We do this for fun. We do this out of our heart. We add as much garlic as we want. And that's just the way it works, you know? And again, like Food Link, we do it big out here. So, Rosa, you got anything?
Oh, any questions, you guys?
Ask them. And also, letting them know live, like we'll be reposting for those people that can make it.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
if anybody wants to rewatch the video or know somebody that may have missed it, we're going to repost it on next Tuesday as our Ask Rosa post. So you guys can rewatch it. You guys can follow the recipe all over again. So if today you just watched it, want to get the ingredients, you can follow the recipe on Tuesday.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, that was pretty easy. I mean, I haven't even broke a sweat yet. And you guys just buy local, buy fresh if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. There's always ways to work around it, you know, and that's why Food Link's here to help you make the best of what we have at home and not take it too extreme. So I say this was a pretty good night.
Because I want some more.
Yeah, I think we're gonna.
I'm like, just
I think we're gonna have to cut early. We're gonna be eating, and you know. So thank you guys. It was cool to have you.
Thank you so much. Can I eat more now?
Yes, I'm gonna cook up the rest of it for us.